Well, welcome to Your In Depth, where we walk through and break down our favorite fictional universes. As usual, I'm Jacob. I'm here joined by Evan.
Hi.
There you go. You know, I feel like if somebody were to be listening to this, they would probably like just that pause there. It's like, oh, there's an internet delay. No, that's the lag between Evan's just brain functioning.
Other
Like, if
people
we were
have
in
lag
person-
with their computers. I have lag in my head.
You do, because it's like, yeah, it's just like, hey, Evan, how you doing? You're just staring at your phone for a little bit. Hi. It's like, yeah. Anyway, today we are covering the finale to the at least season 1, but as far as what's now, the Book of Boba Fett. It will be chapter 7.
Yeah.
So as far as Star Wars news, as usual, I mean, I haven't seen a lot. I guess the release date for the Kenobi series has gotten a actual date instead of just being like May. It's May 25th. That will be when the Obi-Wan Kenobi series on Disney Plus will be starting. So
yeah.
looking forward to that. Before that, April 4th is the Skywalker Saga Lego Star Wars game. And I think it's just April sometime is Bad Batch Season 2. Other than that, I don't know if we have any dates on any upcoming shows or anything. Like that happens before that.
I think you told me the other day that the Andor show still does not have a release date.
Right. Like apparently they've, yeah, I guess I don't know if it's completed fully, but I did see a thing where it's been decided to make, they're going to make a season 2 of it. So
Maybe the U.S. just doesn't get it.
I mean, maybe it's just, it's already been out and people were like, this is awesome. And then there's America
And
where it's like,
I'm okay with America not getting it because I don't care about that character at all.
I know. And honestly, neither do I, but with any of these, I've been starting to appreciate them more as a piece of Star Wars. If it's done okay, you know, the sequels are, we'll just keep away from that. But, you know.
The only thing I can appreciate about that character
is that he died?
That he dies.
Yeah, I thought you were going there. Well, anyway,
I don't.
That's
care.
all that I've seen, though.
I can't even say I don't care about that character. I straight up don't like that character.
Yeah. I don't mind it as much. I didn't really care too much for him, but I mean, I'll watch the show.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'll watch it purely for Star Wars, but
yeah. Anyway, though.
Every time he gets hit with a blaster, I'll be cheering.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
I suppose, though, Chapter 7, the Book of Boba Fett. I guess we'll get started. Unless you had anything that you saw or wanted to mention.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I guess there's like a 1 minute behind the scene things for the Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi on Disney Plus, but that's about it.
I'm pretty sure that was. I think that's been out for a little while, but maybe it's newer. But just look up Kenobi teaser trailer or something like that. Actually, teaser trailer is like I want to say a fan made thing. So
yeah, literally go on to Disney Plus.
Yeah, it's
and there's a little 1 minute behind the scenes thing for Kenobi on there.
Yeah. But anyway, Chapter 7, Book of Boba Fett. Let's wrap this puppy up.
No, you.
Okay.
Got him.
We start off the episode closing in on Garsa's sanctuary. We see Boba and Fennec just standing in the remains of it because that place got bombed. It's just complete wreckage. Boba's looking around and he says, well, we were at war. Being like, well, we're at war. This sets it off. And Mando walks in to join them. Fennec comments that was quick, or somebody comments that was quick because he went and saw Cobb Vanth. Mando says that Cobb Vanth is raising a garrison for them. Fennec mentions how a lot of money can be made from the spice trade, but Boba's like, no, we got to eradicate it, which kind of shows a little bit of a disagreement there. Like she's not entirely on board of let's stop the spice trade. She's kind of being like, why don't we like get a piece of that, you know?
Yeah, she's more like, let's run thinking. The spice trade, where Boba's like, no, we need to shut that stuff down, and I think Mando's of the agreement to shut it down.
Yeah.
But Mando does tell them that Cobb Vanth and his folks are going to be helping for free. Like, they don't have to, like, Boba doesn't have to pay them, which was kind of like a little eyebrow raised for both Boba and Fennec.
Yeah. But Boba says that if Cobb and his forces don't show up, they're screwed. Like, they will not have the numbers. That's not, not going to be a good thing. Boba says that they should lock down in the palace, so that they have a lot of higher ground, a lot of vantage points. And one of his little mod friends disagrees, saying that they would be abandoning Mos Espa and its people if they were to just retreat to their palace. So they say that, and Boba kind of rethinks it and eventually agrees and is like, well, we'll stay here then. This is where we'll fight. Which, I mean, I can kind of see, but I don't know. I mean,
yeah, I get it though. 'Cause, I mean, number one, it's like you go back to your palace, you're abandoning us. But it's also, I think, in terms of Boba staying there with like the mods and waiting for reinforcements there, it's more of like a symbolic, like, I'm here standing for my city type of thing.
Yeah.
And well.
I mean, yeah, I can see it either way. It's like he wasn't thinking of I'm going to retreat to the castle type of thing. I mean, he was thinking from a strategic standpoint, but looking at how it looks and the symbolism behind it, yeah, he needs to fight with his people and be there amongst them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But we then see, it's like nighttime. We see some Jawas, and we see Cad Bane approaching the building where that head pike is. He goes into the building, and sitting in there is the mayor of Mos Espa, as well as the pike and his guards, and I think that's it in there at this point.
Yeah.
And the mayor asks more about Boba, saying if he has anyone else he can call on for aid. He says they used to live amongst the Tuskens, but the Pike says they're all dead because of the Pikes. He said that they blamed it all on the Nikta Riders. Is that what they were?
Let's see.
I forget what they were called, but the biker gang.
Yeah, the Nikto Speed Bikers.
Nikto Speed Riders, yeah.
Speed Bikers, Jacob. Bikers, not riders.
Bikers, fine. Yeah, the speed riders. The mayor asks how, but no, that was one of your theories you had mentioned, and we were both in agreement. And I mean, Fennec questioned it, earlier on, but here we do see it confirmed that it was the Pikes, and they framed the bikers.
Well, because like my big reasoning behind that theory was like, how would the bikers know that Boba was with the Tusken Raiders? Why would the bikers go out of their way to kill one Tusken Raider little camp?
So I was under the impression that the Pikes they had basically told the bikers to do it. I was thinking that was kind of the way it was going to go. Like that's what I interpreted it initially to be. It was like, because it was all in that business and stuff, I figured, but I didn't think it was the Pikes themselves. Like, I don't know, but he confirms it here that yes, it was them.
Yeah, and personally, I just thought it straight up was the Pikes. I didn't think they would go through the bikers. And just because like, the way I thought about it, like the Pikes are this big criminal syndicate, so why would they go through this little lowly biker gang when they can just blame the biker gang and do it themselves, type of thing,
And either way, that is what happened. the mayor asks how long until all of this is over, and Cad Bane says that depends on how much your two stomachs can bear, which is kind of a funny reference to the anatomy of those creatures. I can't think of what they're called, but what the mayor is. Apparently, they do have two stomachs, but they also have four throats. It's kind of just kind of interesting seeing the anatomy and the just difference of all these different species and stuff. The mayor says that he didn't sign off on this bombing. He's just being like, hey, I am okay with you guys. Like I was in agreement, but we're not wanting to destroy the city. Like, the bombing was that's not okay. And the Pikes say that, go ahead.
Because the mayor he was of the mindset or like in the thought process of strategic strikes, like behind the curtain strikes and stuff like that, where like the people would not be affected. It would purely be Boba and his followers affected.
Yeah, and that's clearly not how this went, because Garza and everybody in that bar is dead. And we didn't see Max Rebo in there, so I believe he's probably safe. He survived that barge crash, of Jabba's, so it's like, I think he's pretty safe to, survive most things. But anyway, the mayor, he didn't sign off on the bombing. The Pikes say that Boba is in the old sanctuary, and Cad says he has a way to draw him out. We then cut to an X-Wing flying in to land in Peli's place. I just realized I did not write an ad for this episode. We're going to wing it later on. But anyway, she starts freaking out.
Yeah.
What?
I was going to say, when I first saw the X-Wing, I was kind of disappointed because I thought Luke was coming. And so I was just kind of like, really, they're bringing Luke to Tatooine for the fight? Really? Come on.
Yeah, well, I was kind of expecting them to, and I wasn't too upset about it. I was going to be like, okay, well, as long as he's not the only one fighting, and it's like he's, fighting Boba's fight, then I'm okay with it. If he's helping, all right. But no, that's not even what happened. The X-Wing lands, and Peli is freaking out, being like, it's the police, because New Republic officers and whatnot. And the cockpit opens, and she walks up, and she's like, "Hello, officer." And we see R2 in the back. She looks into the cockpit as she's like freaking out, being like, "What's going on?" And the child kind of is in it, and he lifts up and looks out at her. And she gets really excited, greets him. She talks to R2 a little bit, and calls Grogu Bright Eyes. She goes, "Well, hey there, Bright Eyes." And R2 tells Peli that his name, like what Grogu's name is, and she goes, "Oh, that's a terrible name. I'm not calling you that." Which is kind of funny, because that's kind of, I feel like that was more of a reference to some fans' reaction,
Yeah, probably.
But it was just funny that she says that. And she does notice that he's wearing that little Beskar shirt. And she then offers him some worms to eat. And so she greets him, hugs him, checks him out, gives him some food. He's just he's having a good old time with I don't even know what to call it, Auntie Pel. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah,
we're going with Auntie Pel.
Sure.
It's definitely not Grandma Pel or Mama Pel.
Well, it's not weird. Mama. Grandma would be, just because
or like
Mando's
Granny
his
Pel.
dad.
I don't like Granny Pel either. I like Auntie Pel.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit better, I will say. Mommy Pel.
Not mommy, mama.
No, mommy.
No, we're gonna continue on.
Yeah.
So after Grogu gets his little food of his little living worm things, we cut to the next day. We get an overview of Mos Espa.
Yeah, and we see the group. Fennec says that their people are positioned throughout Mos Espa, keeping an eye out. The Gamorreans are positioned in the Klatooinian territory. Chrysanthemum is with the Trandoshan territory, which, why?
Probably not the best decision on that
Clearly
one.
not. No, that was, yeah. But anyway, and the mods are in the Workers' District or the Aqualish territory. Fennec says that their plan will be complete once the Freetown people arrive, so that way no one will be able to sneak up on them. They have all areas of the city covered. 8D8 then approaches in and says, someone is here to see Boba.
Yeah.
Boba then questions Fennec's statement about no one sneaking up on them.
And real quick, though, like...
Yeah.
Number one, why is Chrysanthemum in the Trandoshan area?
Yeah,
and number two, how
right.
is he keeping an eye on the entire Trandoshan area by himself?
I mean, there's clearly points that they're not. There's blind spots in this.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, sure, they've got people positioned all throughout the different things, but I mean, come on. It's a big city. They're not going to be covering everything. But I think that they're under the assumption, too, that... Well, no. Never mind about that. I was going to say that the families of Mos Espa are on their side and kind of helping a little bit, but they're not. They're just neutral. So, But anyway, someone's there to see Boba. Boba exits out and sees Cad Bane standing there. Boba says he thought he smelled something. Cad Bane says he's there to negotiate on behalf of the Syndicate. Boba says he doesn't negotiate with gutless murderers. Cad says that phrase that we heard in Mandalorian when he was talking to Casca Reeves. He says, if that's not the Quacta calling the Stifling slimy.
Basically the pot calling the kettle black.
Exactly, yeah. Boba says, clear out and tell your bosses they're outnumbered. Cad says not to count on the people of Freetown to help, as he paid Marshal Vanth a visit. He says you should have never left him without his armor. So that's kind of like a, well, uh-oh.
And I mean, he said the same thing to Cobb Vanth, too, last episode. Like, you never should have given up your armor.
Right. Yeah.
Which, I mean, in terms of Cad Bane, I don't think it really matters if you have Beskar armor or not, because Cad Bane's a pretty good shot. He could probably hit the gaps and stuff like that.
Probably. But Fennec and Mando kind of come up behind Boba and are like, you know, they're standing guard, aiming at Cad, being like, if he tries anything or whatever. And Cad says he has back shooters as well, and we see some pike people stand up and aim at him. Cad says to let the spice run through Mos Espa and all of this can be avoided. Boba says he will only negotiate with the head of the Pike Syndicate. Cad says, oh, you mean that one who massacred your Tusken family and blamed it on the speed bike gang? So this is the first that Boba's kind of, learning of this. We do get a flashback of this, of him burning the bodies and whatnot, and he grips his gun.
That basically means, though, if you think about that Boba
he
killed
just
that
slaughtered
gang.
Them.
Yeah, he killed them for something they did not do.
Yeah, which maybe they weren't the best people. Like, I mean, clearly they weren't. We saw them harassing people in Tashi Station.
Yeah.
They were crappy people, but yeah, he didn't.
Yeah,
really,
like Boba didn't go out there to kill them for them being bad people. He didn't go out there to kill them for potential crimes within the city. He went out there and killed them because they killed the Tusken Raiders, quote unquote, killed the Tusken Raiders.
Yeah, and they didn't. He just, he without the proper reason, he just went out there and just destroyed them, which is kind of a But Cad sets up for a duel. He kind of like brushes aside his duster and like has his hand ready to draw his gun. Fennec tells Boba not to engage, to wait, and they pick when this happens. Boba says the reinforcements aren't coming. Cad shot the sheriff and the deputy. Fennec says that they fight on their terms, not the Syndicate's. She talks him down, saying that he's emotional. He shouldn't act on these emotions. He should, he needs to cool it and play smart.
Yeah.
Boba listens and tells Cad that negotiations are terminated. He says that, but go ahead.
I'm also wondering, because if you look at Cad Bane and you look at Mando You look at Boba. They all have like bandoliers on, right? They have like extra shots for their guns, but their guns don't use bullets.
Don't use ammo. I mean, Mando's,
They use like
has
energy
that.
packs.
Right. Oh. Well, Mando's
one gun does not uses individual rounds.
Right.
But like Boba's
so I can
and Cad
justify him
Bane's
having one, but
yeah, but Boba and Cad Bane's use like energy packs, energy mags essentially, or magazines. Like, why do they have all these extra rounds on their person?
Maybe they have another gun that would require them. I don't know.
Well, because Cad Bane only has the 2 pistols. Boba's rifle, maybe.
Well, Fennec, does she have one?
Let's see. I don't think she does.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say,
if she does, it's one I can't see. At least not yet.
Okay, maybe she doesn't. I was just wondering if you were talking about her when you said that, because we did see her rack her rifle. Like that one probably has some form of rounds to it.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of what I can see on her person right now, with this standoff between Cad and Boba, I can't see any rounds on her person. But it's like maybe Boba's rifle uses them, but I mean, honestly, like we see him use that rifle later on in this episode, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
And Cad Bane has his 2 pistols, which again don't use rounds. We don't see him load rounds or anything like that.
With Boba, though, he does have his knee rockets and his stuff like that. Maybe there's something there, but I don't know.
It just strikes me as odd. That's all.
Yeah. Anyway, though, Boba tells Cad that negotiations are terminated. Cad says Boba is going soft in his old age, and Boba says we all do, which, I don't know how I feel about that. But the Twi'lek runs out as they go back in. He comes out and says, he starts complimenting him, saying that it was an extraordinary display of restraint, and go on. And he keeps talking, and Boba just goes, I wonder how much they'd pay for the Twi'lek. And the guy shuts up, and he's like, understood? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be quiet.
I'm wondering, too, if we'll see that Twi'lek kind of be one of Boba's underlings in the next season.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because like with Jabba, he had, what's his name?
Bib Fortuna?
Yeah, Bib Fortuna is kind of like his right-hand guy. Boba obviously has Fennec.
Yeah.
But I wonder if this Twi'lek guy is going to kind of become his negotiator or his political advisor type role in future. I don't know.
I can see it because like he did start off as a captive, to him.
Yeah.
But I think it's just pretty well out of like, part of me wants to say cowardice that he's continuing to kind of like suck up to him.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he might have some use.
Well, because I mean, we've already seen Bobo like with the 2
Gamorreans.
Yeah, the 2 Gamorreans, like they were his prisoners, and they pledged fealty to him, and so he set them free, and they're his guards now. And then like Chrysanthemum was his prisoner, but he also obviously sees Chrysanthemum as like he was just doing his job. Like, you're free to go. And then a little later in one of the other episodes, like, hey, you want to come work for me? Mm-hmm. And so I wonder if he'll do something similar with this Twi'lek guy.
I don't know. But anyway, the mods radio in and say that something feels off. We then get a kind of an more so action scene going on where the families of Mos Espa they've turned against them.
Yeah.
Gamorreans are backed off of a cliff. The mods are getting shot at. Chrysanthemum is surrounded by Trandoshans and is basically brought to the ground.
And they just dogpile him.
Yeah, I mean, that's all they do. And so stuff's gone south. The families didn't keep up the neutrality. They've turned against them. And, yeah.
Which, I mean, in truth, that's the smart move for the 3 families.
It is. And Mando even says that.
Yeah.
Moving ahead a little bit, everyone's cornered. Fennec goes out to take out the head of the syndicate, or not the syndicate, but that region of the syndicate on Tatooine. she takes off to do that, and she stops by saving the mods. But the Pikes start approaching the sanctuary. Mando does tell Boba that he's like, it was a smart move. That was a smart move on their part, and Boba agrees. Boba asks Mando, like, so are you taking off now too? And Mando says, no, he's not. He is, like, it would be against the creed. He gave Boba his word, and he's there until they both fall. And Boba,
and this is an interesting choice by Mando too, because at this point now, because of 2 episodes ago, Mando is not held by the creed anymore.
Yeah, but it's still like ingrained in his beliefs, and stuff. But no, he's not like part of that.
Officially now, at least for Mando, he's not held by the creed anymore, so he could do whatever he wants. He could take his helmet off right now. He could, just leave Boba and to die and all that kind of stuff.
At the same time, we see his kind of mentality towards it. Like, they did say that he needed to go to the to the mines of Moria. You know what I mean? But the underground, the Beskar mines at Mandalore, there he will find redemption. So he's kind of been given that path. He is seeking to be a part of this again. Like, he's not. So I think that just completely abandoning the belief system, I don't think he's going to do that, because he is set to. He wants to redeem himself in the eyes of the creed and in the eyes of the children of the Watch.
But I mean, he would want to redeem himself. But as he said in 2 episodes ago to the armorer, like, those caverns and whatnot are destroyed. Like, there is no waters down there anymore or anything like that. Like, it was all destroyed in the Mandalorian Purge.
Yeah, but I mean, I think he's still going to go check it out. Like, I think that's like the most likely case, but it's still, I mean, potentially he could.
Yeah.
Which I don't fully understand going there, how that would even redeem him anyway. I think it's all figurative, symbolic bullcrap that doesn't matter. Like, he could literally just go take a 2-week vacation, come back and be like, I did it, and who cares? But, anyway.
Well, I'm sure there's more to it than that, because...
Oh, probably.
I would imagine...
Yeah.
With this whole redeeming himself thing, like, if Mandalorians went to that area in the past, they might have some sort of vision that they would have to recount, or have to go there and grab a specific item down there in the caverns or whatever, to prove that they actually did it. I mean,
you're thinking too much into it. You're not. That makes complete sense.
But even with that, though, because if Mando believes that those caverns and the waters are gone, if he truly believes that, and it seems like he does, why would he go back there at all?
Yeah. I don't know. Mando season 3. We'll see. But back to, I mean, we're here. Boba says, do you really believe all that bantha fodder? Like, do you really believe all that creed crap? And Mando says he does. They have a couple options, but they plan to just basically run out there and die fighting. And before they go, the Twi'lek runs up and offers his services as an alternative. He says he was educated on Coruscant, specializing in civic council negotiations. And he offers to negotiate on Boba's behalf. And he even commented in here, which is kind of an interesting thing. He's like, I'm sure you couldn't tell because you can't, like, you don't hear my accent. Because if we think back, Twi'leks do have, an accent. I don't know what to equate it to, but, they do.
I don't think he's referring to, like, the Twi'lek accent.
Or is he talking about the Coruscant?
I think he's referring to a Coruscant accent.
Okay, maybe.
I mean, through all the different Star Wars movies and TV shows and stuff, we don't really notice an accent between, like, Coruscant and, like, Naboo. But I mean, it would make sense that there would be different accents per the planets.
The more I think about it, he's not saying, like, I bet you couldn't tell by my accent because it's changed. I'm a Twi'lek. Somebody commented that on one of the videos, and I had it, like, so as I've said before, when I watched the episode, I also watched through, like, all these Easter eggs and, like, stuff like that. And try to really notice more things so that I can bring them up. that was a comment said by somebody in one of the videos, and I'm like, I was kind of like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Thinking about it now, no, that doesn't make sense. Like your point, yeah, probably. Coruscant probably has their own kind of, accent to it.
Naboo would probably have their own, as well as Megiddo or
right.
And
we do see variation.
wherever you would go, I'm sure they would have some sort of accent, just like within the U.S. Right. You have like Southern, you have Eastern, you have like the Californian accent, you have the Midwest. I would say it's probably something similar to that. Or like if you go over to like Europe, like depending on which country within Europe you're in, they have different accents and different languages and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I still think, and this is just bringing up a callback to an old episode, I still think they should have taken the route with Queel, if you remember him, that he, instead of being like, I have spoken, I still think he should have been Southern. Because I would have loved for him to be like, you're going to ride these blurgs just like, those before you or something like that. And then he just ends with, come around downtown now. Or, I think that would have been freaking hilarious. But whatever.
Or like when Mando first showed up, to be like, howdy, partner. How we doing today?
Yeah, better yet, not even the like ending to his sentences. Not even the key, I have spoken. It's just his entire thing. He just rolls up and there's this little hobgoblin thing. And he's just like, how you doing, partner? That would have been hilarious. I think all around that would have just been funny. Now I tell you what, there is a town down there. There's all those, those pirates going on, right? And you're gonna go down there. You're gonna need to take those out for me, and then I'll help you with all this. Come around downtown now. I did a horrible thing, but just the nonsense that would go into that if he sounded like that would have been hilarious.
But yeah, anyways, though, with
back
the Twi'lek with his accent and whatnot. Like I said, even though we don't really see it in the different Star Wars medias, or we don't hear it, I guess, it would make sense for different planets to have different accents, and even different parts of planets to have different accents as well.
And like you said, even equating it to the U.S., it's like you got, northern accents, you got the, because like regions of the U.S. have, it's like you have a Brooklyn accent, which is freaking whatever. You got Southern, you got like Northern, Midwestern. It's like there's a lot of variation with just even how they speak. Like not even necessarily like a true accent, but just like what they say. I guess just like thinking about it more, like you got like Minnesota where they'd be like, oh, sorry. Like, sorry, eh? That kind of thing. And then you got Midwestern where it's all just like, oh, or John, or whatever. But
and even then too,
we all
like,
do that. But like,
for people listening, like over in like Europe and whatnot, like you go from,
I guess we do have some,
like the UK
listeners
over to like Wales or to like Norway or into France or Spain. Like even if they speak English, you hear the different regional accents there as well.
Right. Yeah, there is. Yeah. So I think that, that's probably what he was referring to. I think that was a good observation by you to equate it to that, especially. Because, he's saying like, you probably didn't know that I was educated on Coruscant, but I did specialize in this when I was there. And and going back to it, he offers to negotiate on Boba's behalf. Boba says that he will write out his statement and sends him out. The Twi'lek then runs out, kind of being all, he's like, greetings, and whatnot. I am unarmed, as he says, with his hands and stuff, is whatever. And he says that he has the terms of surrender. And they're like, well, what is it? And he looks down and he's like, well, we see it's... And he gets like really nervous. And he just reads what Boba wrote, which was nothing. Like, there are no terms for surrender. He just sent him out there.
Yeah.
Being like, yeah. But that pretty well proves to be a distraction, because now they like, they run out there, they fly their jetpacks and start shooting and killing pikes. They're blasting away. It's actually a really, really cool scene. I think probably my favorite one in the episode, because you got Boba and Mando both like jetpacking up in the air, firing away. It reminds me, we keep referring back to that old plug and play thing with the training remote.
Yeah.
If you remember, there was a scene where you fight some Mandalorians, some bounty hunters, and they're just like zipping up and around, and they're firing away at you, and they're going here and there. And I don't know. It's pretty cool. But this was a really cool scene. They start doing that.
But yeah, like I said, it's, a big fight breaks out, and we get some pretty cool, standoffs with Mando and Boba, like going back to back, shooting across each other to cover each other.
Yep.
Rolling this way and that way, dodging. But finally, it gets to a point where they start to get overrun, and they each start getting hit in their, the different parts of their Beskar. And it's looking not very good.
No. And they end up getting pretty well knocked down. During this, by the way, we do see Boba use his knee rockets.
Yeah.
And like stuff, like, which is just really cool. Mando uses his whistling birds. Like, there's just some really cool action pieces. We see him use their weaponry.
Yeah, and I mean,
but they do get knocked down. And
just kind of a reminder thing as well. Like, they're getting hit in Beskar, but as I've talked before, like, Beskar does not blunt the blow. It does not lessen it. It purely just absorbs it, so you don't take the damage on your body. Like, you still feel the force of the impact,
right?
And all that kind of stuff. And like when I compared it to like vibranium in the Marvel universe, vibranium disperses the force, whereas Beskar just stops you from getting hurt.
Right, and even just going simpler to a bulletproof vest.
Yeah.
Let's just say a super, super high quality bulletproof vest. It stops the bullet, and it's going to, stop it from penetrating into you and killing you. But there's still a very fast moving object coming at you. It's not going to stop the force. It's gonna, it's still gonna, you're gonna feel that, and feel that like you're, and all. So, but yeah, so they're being a little overrun. They're not getting shot like to where they're just getting lit up and there's bullets entering their bodies and stuff. But they're getting, like, they can't really get up because there's so much force constantly smacking them. And at this point, in rolls, like, they hear a gunshot off to the right. They look over, and in comes like this transport type thing, and on it is the people from Freetown, and they're led by that bartender.
Yeah.
Which he comes in and helps out, and he says they gunned down the marshal in cold blood. The planet deserves better. Basically being like, we're here because this has gone on too long. This kind of crap cannot, happen. I also think it's kind of funny because the actor that plays this bartender starred in the show Deadwood, which was kind of like a Western drama type. I didn't see it. I haven't seen it. But he starred in that alongside Timothy Olyphant, which is the marshal. So It's like they've worked together before, and it's kind of funny seeing them in a Western type town of Freetown, and kind of in the same dynamic in a way. It's just kind of cool when they do things like that.
Yeah, and like you said, the people of Freetown show up and help fight and get Boba and Mando to cover. And then shortly after that, we do see the mods come riding in on their bikes, and they
come in.
So they were able to get there after Fennec saved them.
Right.
And this was one thing that Jacob and I had talked about a little bit when we talked yesterday after watching the episode. And because I guess I'll say it now instead of waiting till like the end of this whole fight and everything going on.
Sure.
We don't really see a whole lot of casualties on the side of Boba throughout the whole fighting sequences and stuff. We like do see a couple of the mods get hit in that initial ambush, but...
Right. Some of them die, and I guess the Gamorreans do, but he really... he doesn't really suffer a lot of loss on his side. And even just speaking to this point, there's not a ton going on.
Well, and the thing, too, with the mods might not even be dead.
Oh, that's fair, yeah.
Because... it depends on where they got hit, but it's also like one of the reasons like stormtroopers wear their armor and clone troopers and whatnot. Like you see them get hit and they go down, but that armor like a lot of them aren't dead when they go down, especially like the stormtroopers. Like everybody makes the comments of like, man, that armor is useless. Stormtroopers can't aim, all that kind of stuff. But the armor does protect them. And, you know, with stormtroopers, at least they get hit by a blaster and it disperses the energy so it doesn't kill them. It just injures them or knocks them out cold, you know, without even doing actual damage to the body.
Busts a bone or two, but it...
Yeah, but then you have like the mods, like they are cyborgs. They are mechanically enhanced, which could probably play a big role as to whether they live or not if they get hit.
That's true. I can see that. I mean, obviously, like with what we saw with Fennec, it's like some of it replaces internal workings, but like other stuff's just aesthetic and kind of improvement type of things that, I mean, I can see that being the case.
Yeah, and so just because we saw some mods get hit does not mean that they are dead, is what I'm getting at, essentially. The Gamorreans, they're definitely dead. They got backed off of like a freaking 200-foot drop. They're dead.
Yeah.
I would be very upset with Star Wars if those two were not dead, because that'd be some bull crap.
Yeah. Which is, kind of funny.
But yeah, I would say as of right now, even with the fighting, the only deaths on Boba's side are the two Gamorreans that we can confirm.
Yeah. And more than likely some of the mods, just because they were expendable, because they're like other characters. But
I would say I would say it's a good chance that some of the mods are dead, but
we can't confirm it.
Yeah, we can't confirm that just because of the way that their bodies are enhanced and the way that the blasters actually work and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, the mods come in to help. They're there. Chrysanthemum also comes out to help. He looks like he is injured a good amount already, and he comes in. He's tearing up some pikes. One of them he literally rips off of his shoulder, throws in the air, and then fires and shoots him.
Yeah,
like as he's in the air. It's kind of funny there. But he comes out, starts making his way towards Boba, takes on quite a bit of shots. He gets torn up a little bit. Boba runs out to help him.
Well, I mean, while he was moving in too, you can see him like dragging the one leg behind him, like he was really injured as well.
Yeah.
And we do see Chrysanthemum take quite a few hits from blasters as well, which again just kind of goes to prove that just because you get hit with blasters even multiple times doesn't mean you'll die.
Right.
But then again, Chrysanthemum is a big dude. You know, he's a Wookiee they're pretty durable and whatnot. You know, but still.
But Boba comes out, gets him to cover, and says that. He's like, when this is all over, I owe you a soak in the back to tank. Like basically being like, you're gonna need a bit of healing, but I got you, man. Let's go. Come on.
Yeah.
And they continue clearing out the area a bit, and they do. They clear out. Some of them run off, and everybody starts cheering. Mando pulls out his like little heat vision type stuff with his helmet, with his visor, and we see like a giant machine walking towards the street, and then it shows into frame, and it is a big old droid with some missiles on it, some turrets, and if anybody is familiar with Legends, it is a Scorpionic Annihilator droid.
Yeah, and Boba's vision thing too reminds me of like the vision that the Predators use in like the Predator movies in Alien vs. Predator.
Yeah,
those movies.
Wait, I thought that the Predator vision was just a binocular from the bushes.
Well, wrong Predator there, Jacob. Wrong Predator.
But that's what you use.
I'm not one of those other Predators.
Oh, well, I was mistaken. Anyway.
But yeah, from those movies though, that's what Mando's kind of helmet vision stuff reminds me of. I think that's cool.
Yeah. Now, does Boba have that as well? Well, maybe we haven't seen him use
it. I
wonder
think he does. He might if he's updated his armor, but he's also using Jango Fett's armor, and it's unknown if Jango had that capability in his armor or not, and it's also unknown if Boba has updated said armor. Or even if he can update said armor without actually replacing parts.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm not sure if Boba would want to replace parts of his armor.
He probably
just
wouldn't.
Because it's very symbolic of his father and all that kind of stuff, you know.
And between that and just overall probably not wanting much change.
Right.
As far as his armor. I can see that.
So I couldn't tell you for sure if he does or does not. I know he has that little antenna on the side of his helmet that he uses for like the rocket launcher on his jetpack. But I think that's more of just a targeting system.
Yeah. But the Scorponeks come in. Boba shoots, and by the way, they do have big old shields on them, kind of like the droidekas.
Yeah, and they remind me of those. Basically like updated, bigger droidekas.
Yeah,
like they don't, as far as we see in this episode, they don't roll around like the droidekas do to get from point A to point B.
Well, right, but they still have the shields.
Yeah.
And Boba shoots his missile that's on his back at them, and once the smoke clears, we see that did nothing. They continue trying to fight these things, and Mando even tries to use the Darksaber on him, and he cannot get through the shield.
Well, and Mando too also uses his flamethrower as well to try and get through, and because like these are energy shields, obviously, like, and so like I think your way around energy shields, and you kind of see it in the Clone Wars too, is either slow moving where the shield just kind of moves around you because it doesn't register you as like something to block within like the droid systems, or you just have to do enough damage to it to essentially overload it and make it go down for a minute as it recharges. But this far into Star Wars, even after being introduced to like the droidekas, even this far later, like energy shield technology has probably advanced even more so from where it was at the Clone Wars, and with like even like with the Empire and the shields over their cruisers and that type of stuff. Like I'm sure shielding technology within Star Wars has advanced a buttload, and these blasters do nothing, flamethrowers do nothing. Like you said, the rocket does nothing, saber does nothing. It's like, well, crap, we are going to die.
Yeah. But they can't penetrate the shields. They just keep fighting. Mando says he can distract them, and Boba says to protect them. Basically, I'll be right back. You distract, take care of them, protect them, guys. BRB.
I do like to see before Boba leaves, as him and Mando are kind of distracting them together, I do like seeing Boba using his jetpack for like maneuvering. Instead of like flying in the air, like he uses it to give him a boost to roll out of the way. When one of these droids goes to shoot at him and whatnot. I like that he's actually using the jetpack practically instead of just flying around up in the air. Like there's a practical use to just maneuvering on the ground with it as well. I do like that they put that in there.
Yeah. But he leads one of the droids away, and we see the other one chasing the Freetown people, because I didn't mention it, but there are two. There are two droids.
Yeah.
As Mando's running, he runs into Peli, who says she has a surprise for him. And he basically says, "Not now." And the droid comes out from the corner. She screams because she's riding one of those carts, by the way, that in Attack of the Clones, Anakin and Padme had.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like led by a droid. It's just a little little cart. But so.
Well, and even Chrysanthemum tries to penetrate one of those shields as well before you get too much further.
Right. Yeah.
And Chrysanthemum even tries just slowly reaching through the shield, and I kind of got the sense that it was almost like burning his hand as he tried to reach through. He kept trying to push through, and then the droid just kicks him with one of its legs. But so even on that aspect, because like I said before with the droid, because the clones would like roll their little their grenades on like into the shield, and if they did it right and rolled it slow enough, it would just kind of go right through the shield and get the droideka. But even like with this, it just shows that like the advancement of technology within Star Wars, like they've gotten around that little trick, and so like at this point, it's really like, what do you do against these droids that no one can penetrate the shields?
Yeah.
But anyways, back to Peli and Mando.
Yeah, and she basically just peels out. She like tells the little pilot droid, she's like, "Step on it, go, get out, go," and they just peel out and take off. And really quick, I want to take our sponsor break right here. This episode is brought to you by Pell Motto's Auto Care, Ship Repair, Daycare, Eatery, Sandstand, and Taxi Service. Make sure to use code INDEPTH to gain access to exclusive deals. So anyway, We see the mod chick trade guns with the bartender so that she can get the high ground, basically, and try to snipe Pikes and try to get a vantage point on the droid.
Yeah, she's pulling an Obi-Wan.
Yeah, she is. But they trade, and the bartender dude, I don't know his name, has like a long rifle. So obviously that's good for, sniping and stuff. And she's got this tiny, tiny little like gun.
Yeah, you got this little dinky pistol thing.
Yeah. And they just like, it's like the, remember that the cricket
Tanti is his name, by the way.
Tanti?
Tanti. Or Taanti.
Okay. Tanti.
Yeah.
Cool. But anyway, no, she has a gun that is basically the equivalent to the cricket in Men in Black.
Except not as powerful.
Right. Not as powerful. It's just a normal blaster, but it's that tiny. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so she does that, and then we cut back to Mando and Peli, and Peli shows Mando that the child is there, and Mando's just like, what? No, why? Like, he's kind of like unsure why the child's there, but Grogu jumps into his arms and hugs him. Mando's like, oh, I missed you too, buddy, but we're kind of preoccupied at the moment. And he does notice the little Beskar shirt, and he's like, oh, you got it, And Peli refers to the droid here by name. She says we got Scorpionex on her tail or something like that. So she confirms that is what they are, which we already knew. But as they're going, the pilot droid that's pulling them shorts out, and they all get flung up in the air. Mando catches the child midair, and when Peli lands, she like jumps up, like she raises her head and spits out a couple of teeth, like she smacked her face off of something and lost some teeth.
Yeah.
But we then hear a roaring in the distance, and in comes the Rancor. It's like grasping around buildings, lifting its way up. We see its head, and it's looking down, and then it slowly angles a little bit more, and we see Boba riding it.
Mm-hmm. Which again, we kind of saw that one coming because.
Yeah, it was foreshadowed when he's like, the
episode where he got the Rancor from the Hutts,
right? No, from Machete, dude.
Oh no, he got it from the Hutts. They gave it to him as a gift, and Machete was the Beastmaster.
No, Machete was in charge of all of it. The Hutts bowed down to him. That's how this thing works. Yeah, I know. Yeah. But it jumps down and starts having a Pacific Rim style battle with the droid.
Yeah.
But it does. I mean, the Rancor is getting flung around a good amount. Like, he's not getting truly injured, but like he's getting shot at, and like he's got thick skin, but he's still getting damaged.
Well, and the thing too to remember is, and I still have to figure out which kind of Rancor this is. Depending on which kind of Rancor this is.
There's multiple types. Yeah.
Depending on which kind of Rancor this is, this thing might still have a lot more to grow and get a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Well, it's huge as it is.
It's a child.
Yeah.
It's little right now. Like, it's a baby.
Well, it's not a baby. It's like a late teens, but regardless.
I mean, it's a baby. Come on. We're old enough that, like, teenagers would be like a child. We're like, at that point, we're like, all these freaking kids. And really, we're talking about 20-year-olds. I don't know.
But yeah, depending on which kind of Rancor this is, though, like, it could get so much bigger. Because in the Clone Wars, there's one episode where you see Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Ahsoka on Felucia, and they see some Rancor that are, like, humongous, like, probably 3 times as big as Boba's. So if it's one of those kind of Rancor, like, it has a lot more to grow, and then, like, there's other Rancor as well that are just as big, if not maybe a little smaller, but like this thing's just smacking the crap out of this droid, and it's still got plenty more ways to go in terms of growth. So just imagine how big it is after that.
Yeah. But it starts fighting it and stuff, and we see that the shield is kind of weakened in part of the Scorpionex, its shield. And Mando is able to pass through it. He jumps in and climbs on top of it, He pulls out the dark saber and does slice off one of the thing's guns, starts to stab it in the top of the head, but the thing flings him off of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we sorry, I lost my place.
No,
we cut. You go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say too with the droid, the Scorpion neck, right? As Mando like goes to pass through it and attack it, like you can see the shield on it as it's been getting hit by the Rancor. It's like turning red. It's like a blue shield and it's turning red as it gets damaged, and that's what allows Mando to get through. Is
right.
Yeah, we get that. Yeah, it's like it's been weakened, but we do get that visual like point of like where it's been weakened, because like parts of it is still blue where it's still strong, but parts of it is also turning like a reddish color where the Rancor has been beating the crap out of it.
Yeah. We cut over to the others though, and they fight off some pikes and the droid.
We cut to Grogu as Mando is flung off of the big droid thing, and Grogu comes walking out of that little building that Mando told him to stay in as the droid starts trying to stab Mando with its legs. You missed this part of the episode.
No, I know I have it, but I'm just wondering the style of it.
Because it's like Mando gets flung off and Grogu comes out right away.
Nope, you're right. I skipped over two lines that say that. Yeah, sorry. As you were saying, the droid does rear over Mando and is like he's approaching him, gonna freaking kill him. And the child steps out and uses the Force to just rip off one of the thing's kneecaps, basically. Yeah. And then it like falls over a bit, and Mando's able to move away from it, and then the Rancor comes in and finishes the job. After, did you notice this part too? It's like holding it, and Boba goes, "Do it," and it rips it apart. I was just picturing the "do it," But anyway, so he gives it the signal, and it just tears the thing apart. Now we cut over to the others. They are fighting off pikes and that droid. They're doing that for a little bit, and then Boba shows up and fights off that one and defeats it too.
My thing though is before Boba shows up, we see like the people of Freetown and the mods all like hiding behind cover and stuff, shooting at the pikes, ducking down as the droid shoots at them. That thing is a big freaking droid. How is it putting those tiny little impacts, like little dents into this wall they're behind? Like the wall is just stone.
Yeah, it's got large cannons too. You would think that it would be doing a little more damage.
I just noticed it right here too. So we do see one of the people of Freetown get hit and die. At the very least get hit, and it looks like it's dead center chest.
Okay.
And like falls back as he was coming up to shoot. Yeah.
Okay. But I mean, still not a ton going on. But the Rancor ends up pushing its thumb into the droid's eye, and then like lifts it up, tears it apart. They end up chasing after some more of the pikes. Peli meets up with the Twi'lek, and they have kind of a funny exchange. And then we see the Rancor pick up a pike, and it like holds it out in front of it, and Boba shoots it. It then picks up another pike, eats it, and then it crushes another one.
So that was my problem, or one complaint, I guess, that I had with this episode, is we don't see the Rancor eat very many of the pikes. It's just a smash and a throw and a knock off their feet. Yeah. And he eats like one or two of them is all. And I was like, man, I want to see this Rancor grabbing like 3 at a time in his hand, just biting their heads off. Or like ripping one in half and throwing its legs in his mouth. Or like, I expected this Rancor to be more brutal with its attacks.
I know. I want to see it, at least in a further episode. I'll hold off criticism of this episode. In a later one, I want to see him grab 2 people, whether they're bad or civilians, I don't care. But I want to see him grab 2 of them in both of its hands, and I want it to tear it off about chest level, right? And then just squeeze out the guts into its face like it's a freaking Go-Gurt. I want to. Oh God, that'd be amazing.
Oh, we did get one of the what's it called the Wilhelm scream.
Oh yeah, the Wilhelm.
Wilhelm, whatever it's called, that typical scream
freaking,
and it's the guy that the Rancor picks up and Boba shoots and they just flings it backwards and you get that that typical scream.
It's always funny when they use that because like initially it was just a sound effect, you know. They use various like we see sound effects used in multiple films. Star Wars, I commented on the cutter sound is the same as when Dooku got his head cut off. There's other things like that. You know,
and like the scream you hear from the stormtroopers all the time in the first three movies.
This one obviously is the most overused, but there's different sound things that they use all throughout. But anyway, going back to this though, out comes Cad Bane, and the Rancor approaches him a bit. And he fires off some flamethrowers at the Rancor, which knocks Boba off of it because the Rancor is like, fire, and like kind of freaks out a little bit. And then the Rancor runs off.
I do like how casually Cad Bane does all this too. Like, he's not in a hurry. He's not panicking. It's just a casual flamethrower. Okay, you're coming back. Flamethrower again. Yeah, get out of here, you little wuss.
Yeah, he's very calm and composed with everything he does.
Yeah.
And
like Cad Bane, even when you see him in the Clone Wars as well, like he's always in control of the situation. Like I don't think you really ever see him at a point, at least not yet, where he's not composed and at the very least feels like he's in control.
I mean, overall, yeah. I mean, where we're at in the Clone Wars right now, you know, when he was like running off after being injured or whatnot. I mean, he was a little more like panicked fighting then. But even like he's very in control still, you know.
And I mean, even then though, I think even then he's still very in control of the situation, and he has his escape plan ready. You know, like he always has a backup plan to his backup plan type of thing. You know,
sure.
Like Cad Bane is probably I would argue Cad Bane is one of, if not the best bounty hunter in the Star Wars galaxy at this moment.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like,
for sure.
And it was like the one thing you even said with the last episode, with why Cad Bane has those tubes, you know, to prevent himself from being force choked. Like, he's got contingencies to his contingencies.
Yeah. Yep. But Boba gets up and picks up his gun and stands up, and once again he tells Cad to clear out. Cad says, "I've known you a long time, Boba. There's one thing that I can't figure. What's your angle with all this?" You know, and Boba says, "This is my city, my people." Cad says, "Oh, like the Tuskens were?" Like kind of being like poking at him. And Boba even acknowledges that. He says, "Don't toy with me. I'm not a little boy any longer. And you're an old man." Because they do have a history a bit. You know, they've run into one another at different points. I want to say Cad kind of mentored him in some ways. But like...
I would imagine so, because... You know, Jango was a big time bounty hunter during, you know, before the Clone Wars, you know. And in the Clone Wars TV show, we do get comments from different kind of slimy people, you know, like kind of the bad guys and, you know, some pirates and even other bounty hunters were like, they all respected him. They revered Jango as their friend. And after Jango's death, it would make sense that a lot of them would want to look out for Boba. You know, especially since Jango treated Boba as his son, even though he's a clone, you know.
Well, but he took him in as his son. Like, that was the whole purpose of having him.
Exactly, yeah. And it would make sense that... And because in the Clone Wars, we do see a little bit of mentoring from some bounty hunters to Kid Boba, you know, and it would make sense that if Cad Bane, you know, considered Jango maybe not a friend, but at least a good acquaintance, you know... Yeah, I think it would make sense that Cad Bane would kind of take Boba under his wing for at least a little bit.
Yeah. But he says that he's an old man. Cad says that he's still faster than Boba as far as a quick draw, you know. And they challenge one another kind of and set up for a quick draw duel. They do it. Boba gets hit. He doesn't even I mean, he's pretty quick, but he's also using a larger gun, so it kind of makes sense. But he's like almost there, but he still gets he gets shot kind of in the armor, like on the shoulder or something, and gets flung back.
I don't even think it's in the armor. I think it's right between his pauldron, his shoulder armor, and between the chest, like right there in that gap. He gets hit a couple times.
Right. I think you're right. He does get shot, not in the armor, because later on he says something. So, but as you even pointed out, it was like even if Cobb Vanth had his armor on, Cad is precise enough that he probably would have still found a weakness in it.
And I mean, even if Cobb Vanth had Boba's armor on at that time when Cad Bane shot him, even if Cad Bane hit him in the chest and hit him in the armor, that would be enough time for him to get another shot off to hit him in one of the gaps, or maybe just keep hitting him in the armor and knock him down, and then if need be, get up to him and hit him in the joints and stuff like that. As I've said, Cad Bane is one of, if not the best bounty hunters in the galaxy, even now with him being an older man.
Yeah.
You'd be hard-pressed to find... I'd say you'd be hard-pressed to find a single person that could outdo Cad Bane in terms of just a duel, let alone, actual bounty hunting itself.
But Boba gets hit, falls down, tries flame throwing, gets shot again. Cad comments about Boba being his father's son, being like, you can't outrun your, whatever, the crime lord, or the bounty hunting kind of like killing part, or whatever, the fighting.
Because Cad Bane calls Boba a killer. He's like, you are a killer. Like, that's who you are. You can't, like, your father was a killer and his blood runs through your veins. Like, you can't escape that. That's who you are. You have no choice in the matter. Essentially, is what Cad Bane tells him.
Yeah. But he steps over Boba and continues talking to him. He tears off Boba's helmet and aims a gun down at his face. Cad says, consider this my final lesson. Look out for yourself. Anything else is weakness. And he's like getting ready to pull the trigger, fires, but right as he does, Boba like almost notices. He's firing now. Move! And he moves and like deflects the bullet there with his shoulder. That one, I think he hits that. Gets out of the way. Swipes him with the gaffy stick, hits him with it, knocks him down. Cad tries to aim his gun at Boba. He then swipes it away. Cad says, I knew you were a killer. Then tries to shoot flames at Boba, but Boba hits away his hand, spins around the gaffy stick, and brings it down, stabbing Cad Bane in the chest with it.
Yeah. And this was something we kind of talked about yesterday. Because as Boba goes to walk away, it takes a couple seconds where it just shows Cad Bane laying there. And you can see the wound in his chest where Boba stabbed him. And I was saying, I'm not convinced that Cad Bane is dead.
No, and because I have further comments on this now. Because looking at it again, I'll get into it completely. What you're saying,
because as it's showing Cad Bane there, it's got a little panel on the left side of his chest, where it's got a light flashing, right? And I kind of take that as maybe like his heartbeat, or like kind of like a proof of life type of thing. And you see it just sitting there flashing, but you never see it slowly stop flashing. You never see it just cut and stop and then show him there an extra second for like a proof that he's dead. It just keeps flashing all the way until the point where it cuts away from him.
Right. And I think that this is fully intentional. I don't think Cad Bane is dead. Because of what you said there, it's flashing, but also it's beeping. Like you hear the beep, 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 whatever. It's just one of those details where it's like,
right.
Of course that means something. On top of that, when Cad was initially lining up for the quick draw and stuff, it wasn't beeping. It was just there. It was just a little red thing. It was not lit up, nothing. So what I'm thinking is either it's a distress call and he's calling for somebody else, being like, oh, I'm in trouble, or something happened. It's kind of like an emergency signal. or it's like backup life support, something.
Yeah.
That's now activating now that he's dead.
Well, and my thing too,
Dead,
thinking
quote
about it
unquote
now,
dead, because it's like,
yeah, my thing too, think about it now with Cad Bane doing that thing with the tube down his throat so he can't be force choked. It
He's
would
got
make sense for him to essentially had modifications done to himself to prevent himself from dying in a way like this, being stabbed or shot. It would make total sense. Like, he's fought Jedi, so he has that tube there for the purpose. He's probably been force choked at some point. He was like, man, I got to not let that happen again. And him being alive this long, he's probably been shot a couple times, and he's put contingencies in place after the first or second time where, like, if I get shot, I got to have a way of not dying from it. Like, it would make sense for him to have modifications done to his body besides just that tube down his throat.
Right. So, he has backup plans. And so this fully, I think, makes sense that he's something to do. Somehow, he is not dead. Or he's dead, but there's a plan in place to keep him not that way. Also, a note here: if you noticed, at this point, his hat falls off because he fell down. He's on his head. There is a metal head plate. There's a plate there. Thinking back to that unaired thing of the Clone Wars, I think that this confirms that happened. Boba's got the dent in his helmet. Cad's got the plate on his head now. Yeah. I think that their quick draw thing happened. Or at least this is a reference to that.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say that makes it canon. Because if I'm not mistaken, in that unaired episode that is now considered Legends, if I'm not mistaken, Cad Bane gets hit in the chest by Boba.
Okay.
And Boba takes the shot to the helmet. If I'm not mistaken. Also, oh gosh, give me 1 second. I gotta double check it. Sorry, I had to confirm that real quick. I was thinking it happened a little differently, but there's one scene in the Bad Batch where we see Cad Bane have kind of a standoff with one of the main characters. And I thought Cad Bane got hit, but he didn't.
Oh, okay.
Was what it was. Because I thought in that scene he got hit like in the chest or something like that, but he, again, is quicker on the draw like we've seen him be numerous times.
Yeah. But anyway, going to the episode and stuff. Yeah, he's laying there. We don't think he's dead. Whatnot. We see the Freetown people are shooting at the Rancor, who has now gone completely wild. It's gone like, it's no longer being ridden by Boba, so it's kind of just running around doing whatever it wants. They start shooting at it. Mando stops them, though, saying that they're scaring it. We see the Rancor climb up a tower and pull some King Kong crap.
Yeah.
Mando goes to stop the Rancor, jetpacking up and trying to ride it, and it just grabs him and throws him down, smashing him through a building, and then and it picks him up and tries to eat him. Can't because of the Beskar. Mando shoots flames into its mouth. It looks at him and then throws him down on the street.
Yeah, Mando's getting the crap beat out of him. And I'm a little skeptical of this part because, Mando's wearing Beskar and that stops him because the Rancor tries to eat his head and it can't because of the Beskar helmet.
Yeah.
But if you have a Rancor throwing you onto the ground with that much force, we do see Mando kind of get back up and it seems like he's bruised and battered, but sorry, I think he probably should have at the very least some broken ribs, if not some like a broken leg or an arm or something, or not straight up just dead from the impact.
I agree. That was a lot of force to be tossing him around with. Which
that part right there, I'm a little skeptical on, but I mean, other than that,
the Rancor jumps down and looks at Peli and the Twi'lek, and they both scream in a funny way. And in this, we do see that Peli's missing a tooth. Then she says, "Don't worry, kid. And she looks for Grogu, and she's like, "Where'd you go?" And we see the child walking out into the street next to Mando, and approaches the Rancor. The child stares at the Rancor and lifts up his little hand like he did with the Mudhorn, and the Rancor starts to settle down a little bit and then falls asleep. And then the child walks over to it and falls over next to it and sleeps next to him. So Boba and Mando's kids are having a nap.
Well, I like it too because it's like Grogu goes over there and like kind of nestles up next to it, and then you see it, and he like nestles up a little closer, like kind of pulls himself into a little ball and nestles even closer to the Rancor.
Yeah, before that he did pet it too. He kind of like touched its teeth and then did that.
Honestly, I was waiting for it, and I thought it would have been freaking hilarious if, like, after Grogu put the Rancor to sleep, he goes over and just tries eating one of its teeth, like, you know. I thought that would have been hilarious.
Yeah. Now, Grogu here showed kind of a power, I guess you want to call it, with the Force called like beast control. Mm-hmm. We saw it used by Anakin in Episode 2 when they were in the arena on Geonosis. But I want to comment that this is not a power that all Force users have. It's almost similar to the psychometry that we see in Jedi Fallen Order, where by touching an object you can see its past.
Yeah.
So there's some different like kind of Force powers there that not all Force users have.
And we do see it a couple other times as well.
Okay, and we might. I just was using a couple
in
of
Clone
examples.
Wars, we see Obi-Wan use it.
We've
already covered that episode. Yeah.
On Ryloth?
Yeah, on Ryloth. Obi-Wan uses it for some of the creatures there on Ryloth as they're attacking him and his clones. Mm-hmm. In Rebels, you see Ezra. I think it's Ezra use it. It's either Ezra or Kanan that uses it. One of the two Jedi characters in Rebels. You see one of those two use it as well. And you might see Yoda use it. I'm trying to think if we ever saw Yoda use it. But that's about it in terms of actual Jedi that we see using this ability. Yeah. Yoda, I'm kind of iffy on. I can't remember if you see him use it or not.
But yeah. Mando gets up, and we do see... It almost looks like he has knee rockets on his left leg. Kind of noticed that. It almost looks like it. Might not be that, but I was kind of like, what is that?
On his left leg?
Yeah.
Let's see.
You kind of see like two tubes pointing downwards, and it almost seems like that's what it would be.
That's what kind of cool. I would say, yeah, those are kind of like little... Yeah. Now, whether they're ankle or knee rockets kind of or not,
or like some sort of
I'm
gun.
not sure. Yeah, it's some sort of gun.
Like a knee blaster.
Even Bobas are not knee rockets.
I keep calling them that. You're right. Yeah. They're like a blaster.
Yeah, it's like a knee blaster. I think it's something similar to like the super battle droids, how they have like the wrist blasters built into the droid. I think it's something similar to that, but it's just been modified and built on to put on like you could have someone use it on their wrist as like their own like kind of wrist blaster, or on their knee for a knee blaster.
Anyway. So, Peli approaches and says, well, I guess there's not going to be a barbecue. Now, this, just from some of the sources I saw, I think it is a reference to the Galaxy's Edge thing in Disney, the Hollywood Studios park, because there is a bar there that serves alcoholic beverages. It's in the Oga's Cantina bar. But one of the beverages they have is called a Bloody Rancor. Oh. And it's just it's basically like a Bloody Mary, but it's got like a little bone on top and like some different concoctions, whatever. But it's called a Bloody Rancor. Seeing how this Rancor is not dead, right. I think that she's referring to that, which is kind of a fun thing. But she might not be either. But it just kind of seems odd that she says that. So I'm convinced that's what she's referring to.
Or maybe she just wanted to try Rancor and now she can't. Who knows?
Maybe. I don't know. But we then cut over to the Pike leader, who is talking about leaving the planet, and he is with all the heads of the families of Mos Espa and the mayor.
Yeah, we do also get another quick clip of seeing all the stormtrooper helmets on Pikes again.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we do see that. Different types of Pikes.
Nope, same pikes. The pikes are wearing stormtrooper helmets.
No, better yet, they're just out there. They got like them in their hands. They're just holding
them up.
That's all they're doing. Yeah. But anyway, we hear some blaster fire start, and then some shots come in from the ceiling, killing the Aqualish, then the Kotunian, and then the Trandoshan. The 2 Pike guards get shot as well. The mayor's kind of freaking out, walking around. And then a wire drops down from the ceiling, wraps around his neck, pulls him up, and then we just hear a of him, his like neck breaking, and he's just hanging there.
Yeah.
Then we see the Pike look around. He's trying to figure out where the threat is, and he's just all of a sudden he's like stunned, and then falls over, and we see Fennec behind him with a green blood covered knife, to where she just full on assassin.
Yeah.
Like, she's just full on assassin right now.
And I like that they put this in here because, well, real quick as well, the knife she uses, I don't know if you noticed, Jacob, but it has a little ring on part of the hilt.
It looks like I think it's a bayonet.
Yeah, where it's almost like she can fix it to her sniper as a bayonet. Yeah. But I do like how they included this in here and showed Fennec as the assassin, because we were introduced to her as, you know, Fennec Shan, Master Assassin, but we've never really, at least in Book of Boba Fett, we haven't gotten to see the whole assassin side of her.
Or really in Mandalorian either. But, I mean, I know she's been in a couple other things, but not much. I mean, but it is nice to see her in this, doing this. We then see a ship landing at Mos Espa, which I saw this scene, and I honestly thought it'd be an Easter egg. I thought we'd see somebody stepping off of it in the background that we're supposed to recognize, but I didn't notice anything significant. Mm-hmm. I think it's just showing that Mos Espa is thriving again. Yeah. I think that's really what's going on. But we see Boba walking through the street greeting everyone, and they're all bowing out of respect. And as he's waving, he says, "Why did it have to be the right arm?" You know, referring to getting shot, I think. Even though I thought that was his left arm that he got shot. But either way, he hurt his right arm.
Yeah, it was his right, because
it was.
Was his, that's his blaster arm. Or blaster hand. And because as they're all bowing, they're doing like their hand to their, almost like their hand to their heart and bow, and he returns it as like a, you know, a symbol of respect to them for the respect they're showing him type of thing.
Yeah. And Fennec says he should use the Bacta tank, but he says it's being used currently. Some people run up to him and give him a mango type thing. I don't know what it actually is, but it looks like a mango.
Yeah.
And Boba says, as he's walking, he's like, "We're not suited for this." Fennec says, "Well, if not us, then who?" Then they approach Chrysanthemum and the mods. Alongside them, too, is that little rat catcher droid. Kind of funny seeing him just chill there. But Boba tosses Chrysanthemum the melon. And the mods comment about the Wookiee getting a melon, but not them. They're like, "Why does he get one and not us?" You know? And one of them then goes, "Chrysanthemum, you want to share?" And he just roars at them. And they're just like, "All right, then," and just kind of laugh.
Yeah.
We then pan up and enter into outer space. We see Mando flying with the child in the little droid port. As they fly, the child has that little throttle ball. Starts knocking on the thing. He's just just starts knocking on the glass. You know.
Real quick too, I believe one of us or both of us called the whole port there being for the child. That little droid spot.
I mean, it's glass encased. Like,
which I mean, I think that was a pretty safe assumption, anyways. But yeah.
Anyway, so he's doing that, and Mando's like, "No. I said no." And then the child gets like super aggressive with it. And then he's like, "All right, fine, but this is the last time." And then clicks the little, it's not hyperdrive, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know? He presses that, and they go, and the child just is like, just so like overjoyed, like just laughing as he like flies off.
There was one, I think it was a YouTube Shorts video that I saw.
I think I sent it to you. Is that the one where it breaks?
He's knocking on the glass and he shatters the dome.
Yeah, somebody went in and edited this. So the child's like knocking on the glass, and as he's doing it, it just starts cracking, and he keeps doing it, and then it just goes, and he gets sucked up into space. It's the funniest edit I've ever seen. But yeah. But anyway, and then the credits roll, and I noticed it's kind of interesting, the music now for the first time. Like usually it's like the they do that or whatever, and then it's like dun, 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 but now they're saying Fett, and then eventually they're like Boba Fett. It's just kind of a weird feel to it. I don't know. It's just kind of weird to hear them going Boba Fett. It's just strange to me. But it's kind of an interesting change from the previous, intro, music and stuff. So, but anyway, there's that. Then we see a post-credit scene, and we enter in. We see Boba's bacta tank. Remember, he said that it was being used. Initially, when he said that, I thought it was like, oh, Chrysanthemum. But then they walk up and see Chrysanthemum, and I'm like, oh, I wonder who's using it. But we see it, and we see Cad Bane in it. So he is still alive, even though the bartender made it sound like he was straight murdered. And actually, it's kind of funny because I texted Tyler because I was like, did you see the episode today or yesterday? And he's like, no, not yet. About to watch it. I'm like, oh, crap. Because I was going to send him that meme of the child getting sucked up, but I didn't want to spoil anything. So after that, he writes and he's like, oh, dang, dude, Cad Bane is dead. I'm like, do you see the post-credit scene? And he's like, give me a minute. And he goes back and watches it. But yeah, Cad Bane is there, and above him is that modder, the mod doctor, whatever you want to call him. And he's got he's got his tools and stuff. So he's going to patch him up and probably give him some cybernetics of some kind. But then complete end of
I'm
the
just
episode.
saying, if Cobb Vanth does not have a blaster built into his arm, I'll be disappointed.
Oh, fully. Yeah. I think that he is going to, since he got shot in the shoulder, I think he's going to get like a cybernetic arm. I think that's probably what's going to happen.
Maybe not a full cybernetic arm, but maybe like the upper part of his arm, kind of like we see with the one chick, the mod chick, where she has like her forearm is cybernetic, but she still has like her human hand.
Right. So maybe something like that. I think that would make sense. But yeah, if you don't have a blaster built into that thing, like, come on, what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, like he's like a like a Wild West like sheriff. Like, come on.
Yeah, at least have a little cigar port. All right,
something
like something. Yeah. But anyway, that's the end of the episode. That's the end of the Book of Boba Fett as well. As of now,
yeah.
I'm hoping they do a second season. I know I was personally pretty negative about it. Well, you were for sure, but. Just overall, the feel of it, being, the last two episodes, it's just like, this doesn't fit. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about it. But seeing how it ended, I can kind of justify those a little bit more. I won't go into it, but
I almost think they have to have a second season, though.
I think so, too.
Because the whole thing with the Pikes, it's not just over. The Pikes are not just going to give up. They just killed they killed one of the leaders of the Pikes and some of their foot soldiers. If anything, the Pikes would be seeking revenge. They wouldn't just say, we're done with Tatooine now. They killed a couple of our guys. We can't go back there. It's like, no, we're going to go slaughter them all.
Yeah.
I think they almost have to have a season 2 to it.
I was just going off of the fact that we don't see it confirmed yet. Like, there's no talks of it or anything. It would make sense, and I hope they do it, but... but yeah, that's the Book of Boba Fett. There we are. We're done covering that. That is another thing that we have completed, I guess, or at least are up to date with. Because so far, I guess it's only been The Hobbit that we've completed.
And
that
Mando.
series. And Mando,
yeah.
But this is our 67th episode, so kind of a cool... non-significant number to end a series on, but but that is episode 67. So I mean, we've covered a good amount in our podcast episodes.
One thing I would say though too on this episode and the last two, I can see it a little bit why they did the last two episodes the way they did, but I still think they did them wrong.
I agree. I think they did it a little too excessively.
Yeah, there was no need to show all of Grogu's training. Maybe show one or two key points. There was no need, honestly, to have Ahsoka in there at all.
No.
She was not important to that episode whatsoever. The episode before that was all Mando. There was no need to have it all be about Mando and then just see Fennec at the last, like, 2 minutes of it. Mm-hmm. Like, show some of those key points in those episodes, yeah, but not make both episodes about Grogu and Mando.
Yeah, I think that for sure it was not done entirely right, mainly because in 2 of 7 episodes of the Book of Boba Fett, we saw Boba Fett probably
for like 3 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Probably like 3 minutes out of the entire thing. Now, seeing this episode, I do see it as a little bit more justified. I can feel a little bit better about it. I'm not so much like, why did they choose to do this? This is dumb. They shouldn't have done it like this. I'm still like, they shouldn't have done it like this, but there's a little more understanding there, and I can see a little bit more why they did it. Because it's like, for Mando to show up for this battle, it's like, well, where the heck did he come from? What is he doing now? You know, it's like, so they got to bridge that gap. And then it's like, well, the child chose Mando. But what about his training? It's like, so you do have to see a little bit of what was going on with his training. Not as much as they chose, but a little bit.
Honestly, we didn't even need to see that much of the training. We could have simply seen Luke talking to Grogu for like 2 or 3 minutes and then like offer him the choice after we see Mando show up with the shirt.
And I'm not meaning the actual like training sequence. I don't think that was necessary. I meant just overall his time with Luke as his training. I was kind of lumping it together, but still.
And I mean, to bridge the gap of what Mando's been doing, it could have been a quick 15-minute thing.
Yeah, and I mean,
honestly, or if they wanted to do a little more than that, they could have gone from Mando to Boba, Mando to Boba, Mando to Boba.
Yeah, I think that would have been a good approach to it too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They did it the way that they did. You know, there's things I would change, but it's all right. And I saw Star Wars Theory's review of this as a whole, and he made a comment that I fully agree with, just being that overall rating of the show, like if I had to give it a review, really pretty good, 8 to 9 out of 10 for being a piece of Star Wars. Being the Book of Boba Fett, 4. It's not great for that storyline. Being just an overall puzzle piece to Star Wars, love it, you know?
Yeah.
But given what it is supposed to be, it's not, yeah.
Right. And I mean, I guess because it is titled The Book of Boba Fett. So if you're going off of the title, like if this were an actual book itself, like I could justify it more if it was an actual book where we go and see Mando for a little bit and we see Luke and Grogu for a little bit to bring them in. But in terms of a TV show, I think they did that part completely wrong.
Yeah. But I definitely feel better about it, given this episode. Regardless, I think that it ended better than it was going.
Yeah, so, I feel better about it too, but I'm still very against the way they did the last 2 episodes. I feel better about it, but I still think they did those wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, for Christ's sakes, Captain Rex didn't even show up. What the heck?
I saw some TikTok. I don't know if I sent it to you, where it's just like, there was a project in the works to include Commander Rex in a new Star Wars TV show, and he was actually even supposed to make an appearance in the Book of Boba Fett, but the 2 actors have a feud and they're not talking, even going so far as to never being seen in the same room or something like that. It's so dumb. They're like making some like goofy like drama going on, but it was like between the actor that played Rex and the actor that plays Boba. It's so dumb.
Oh God! For people that are confused,
it was Commander Cody, because we've seen him in live action. So it was going between those 2, but still. Same
for
thing.
People that are confused, the 2 actors are Tamara Morrison.
Yeah, because he played
for anybody that's a little thrown off
and...
by that, it's the same actor.
Yes, but anyway, I thought that was funny. But yeah, I don't have anything more to say. That was kind of our view of it, our overview of it, and our opinions. I would just end with saying, keep the downloads coming, spread it to your friends, talk, just, I don't know, share it with those you like or don't like. I don't know, scribble it on a bathroom stall. I don't care. But spread the word. That's my point.
Yeah.
Because every 1,000 downloads we do a blooper reel. But yeah, we'll probably
be back to our normal schedule of Lord of the Rings and Clone Wars until we finish up Lord of the Rings, because we're on the Return of the King right now.
Yeah, so we got a couple parts left of that, but
we'll be back to the Clone Wars covering that. I know we said we had planned on doing all 3, but it was kind of hectic with trying to do 3 different recordings.
We did it once. We started off being able to do it, but then just things come up. It's like we generally record on one night a week. Recording our coverage of the Book of Boba Fett, mainly Lord of the Rings, and then as well as Clone Wars. I work until 5. I get home 5:30. Probably not even ready, and this is my time, by the way. I get ready to, I get dinner and stuff, so we're not even really starting recording until 7 or 8 o'clock at night. So then throw on probably 5 hours.
At least.
And that's just for Lord of the Rings. But no, I mean, it was a lot. And we tried to make it work. We tried recording separate days and just ended up deciding that, okay, I would rather keep the upload schedule of the Book of Boba Fett because it is current. I would rather do that than, try to balance all of them and miss out on, I don't know, have one of them suffer or something. It's better just to focus on one and then just move from there. So that's what we did, but now we're done. So as you said, we will resume our normal schedule probably.
At the very least, I think we'll finish Lord of the Rings.
Yes. Yeah.
At the very least, and if we go just finish Lord of the Rings and then into Clone Wars, we might do it that way. But I think we'll try and get back to the normal schedule.
Yeah. But anyway, like I said, 1,000 downloads comes a blooper reel, so spread the word. If you are listening on Apple or you have an Apple account, please leave us a review and rating on there. If you listen to us on Spotify, there is a rating option there. You can't really leave your feedback, so there's nothing really we can, read on the podcast. But you can give us 5 stars there if you like it. And because every 25, as I think you're about to maybe say, every 25 Apple reviews will be a live stream.
Yeah. And then we have the one link in the description for checking out all the other different platforms and stuff on YouTube. Yep. I think TikTok, Twitter,
YouTube,
whatever else.
Yeah, that link will take you to all of our listening platforms that we are on. We'll also take there's a section for YouTube, for Instagram, for TikTok, for an email if you want to send us a message. Patreon is on there as well. But yeah, if you want to hear uncensored episodes or early access episodes too, that is patron exclusive content there. But anyway, I got nothing else to say. I need to go because I'm hungry. But anyway, unless you have something else to say, I guess goodbye.
Nope. We'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace
out.
Deuces.